Guys, we bought Walter Isaacson's authorized biography of Elon Musk and broke down every mention of Amber Heard. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and this book is huge, over 600 pages. For those of you interested in the Amber Heard portions, we got you covered. If you'd like to read them for yourself, you're going to want to go to chapter 44, Rocky Relations, where her photos will start appearing. It's only 2 photos, a kiss and an event. I hadn't seen the kiss before, but let's break it down. Thankfully, we have a Kindle version as well, so you have to stare at this version. But the book is written by Walter Isaacson, who wrote the Steve Jobs biography. And look, I was hoping we'd get some more juicy details. Sadly, our previous video pretty much sums up the juiciest of details. Do they mention the pregnancy? No. Do they ask Elon about the trial and clear parallels between him and Depp and the relationship with Amber? No. Do they ask about bugging Teslas when Amber said that? No. Do they ask about any of that stuff? No. Do they ask about the cult group, things that her and Kara did? No. Do they talk about the elevator video? No. There's a lot of missed opportunities. I got to be honest with you guys right out the gate. And I'm frustrated because overall, while I haven't been able to read this whole damn book, it's massive. I am intrigued to learn a little bit more. I just feel like the author himself either refused to push or wasn't allowed to push. And that makes this book quite disappointing, if I'm being honest. While there are some interesting revelations here, they're interesting at times. I feel like the author should have been better researched to press and at least ask questions that he didn't. So here is the first part. I'm gonna show you all the points, and thank you, Steph, for helping gather this with her Kindle version. Musk was not bred for domestic tranquility. Most of his romantic relationships involved psychological turmoil. The most agonizing of them all was with Amber Heard, who drew him into a dark vortex that lasted more than a year and produced a deep-seated pain that lingers to this day. It was brutal, he says. The relationship began after she made her action movie Machete Kills, which features an inventor who wants to create a society on an orbiting space station. Musk agreed to be a consultant because he wanted to meet her, but that didn't happen until a year later when she asked if she could come visit SpaceX. I guess I could be called a geek for someone who can also be called a hot chick, she says jokingly. I guess I'm both a geek and a hot chick. Yes. No, you're neither. You're neither. You're not a geek. We're not a geek, loser. So yeah, then they went for a ride in a Tesla. She decided that he looked attractive for a rocket engineer. She decided, I think his money was attractive. Let's keep it a buck, Amber. She next saw him when they were in line to walk the red carpet at New York's Met Gala in May 2016. Heard, then 30, was on the brink of an explosive divorce from Johnny Depp. So she's admitting that they were connected. Elon had the hots for her while she was with Johnny. That's revealing. There's a lot of stuff in here that basically Elon's admitting he knew they were together, but also that there were troubles very similar to Johnny. So my biggest frustration, aside from the author not pushing, is why isn't Elon being vocal and wasn't vocal against Amber? I guess because he's still not there where Johnny has moved on. Elon's still trapped in her web. I don't get it. So yes, after that dinner where Johnny didn't show up, remember, and she admitted to this, that they met, she and Musk talked at the dinner, and then an after party, reeling from her relationship with Depp, she felt that Musk was a breath of fresh air. So while she was still with him at that point, granted it was clearly deteriorating. A few weeks later, she was working in Miami and Musk came to visit. They stayed at a poolside villa he had rented. So only a few weeks after this was all dying, she's already jumped on to a new billionaire. They stayed at the poolside and rented in Miami, and then he flew her and her sister up to Cape Canaveral, where a Falcon 9 launch was scheduled. She thought it was the most interesting date she had ever been on, probably the most expensive date she had ever been on. I have no doubt Amber had been with some rich guys, but I don't think anyone else was flying her to the rocket launches. For his birthday that June, she decided to surprise him by traveling from Italy, where she was working, to the Fremont Tesla factory. This is telling. She sniffed that money and decided, I'm going to go surprise him and go to Italy and really win this guy over so I can get his money. She got near, she pulled out to the side of the road, picked some wildflowers. Working with his security team, she hid in the back of the Tesla and popped out with the flowers when he approached. The relationship deepened in April 2017 when he flew with her to Australia while she was filming Aquaman, in which she played the princess warrior lover of superhero, blah, blah. They walked holding hands through a wildlife sanctuary, did the treetop ropes course. I think that's where the images of him being hurt came from. After which Heard planted a kiss mark on his cheek. I think it was more than a kiss mark. He told her that she reminded him of Mercy, his favorite character in the video game Overwatch. So she spent 2 months designing and commissioning a head-to-toe costume so she could role play for him. His playfulness, however, was accompanied by his type of turmoil that attracted Musk. His brother and friends hated her with a passion that made her their distaste for Justine pale. She was just so toxic, Elon's brother says. A nightmare, Musk's chief of staff, Sam Teller, compares her to a comic book villain. She was like the Joker in Batman. He said she didn't have a goal or aim other than chaos. She thrives on destabilizing everything. She and Musk would stay up all night fighting, and then he would not be able to get up until the afternoon. Sounds like somebody else. So this is what's really frustrating. Seeing Elon basically acknowledge and admit that they had a similar relationship, and then he didn't have Johnny's back is really, really lame. And I hope at some point he does. That'd be pretty amazing for the turn where Elon then becomes Team Johnny. They broke up in July 2017, but got back together for their 5 tumultuous months. The end finally came after a wild trip to Rio de Janeiro that December with Elon's brother, his wife, and some of the kids. When they got to the hotel, Elon and Amber had another of their flame-throwing fights. So again, sound familiar? She locked herself in the room and started yelling that she was afraid she would be attacked and that Elon had taken her passport. The security guards and Kimbal's wife all tried to convince her that she was safe, her passport was in her bag, and she could and should leave whenever she wanted. She really is a very good actress, so she will say things that you're like, wow, maybe she's telling you the truth. But she isn't, Kimbal, Elon's brother, says. The way she can create her own reality reminds me of my dad. Let that sink in. His dad had issues, guys. She creates her own reality. Amber concedes that they had an argument and that she got rather dramatic. She's acknowledging this. I guess she has to. But she says that they resolved the fight that evening, which was New Year's Eve. They went to a party and celebrated the ringing in of the new year, standing on a balcony overlooking Rio. She in a low-cut white linen dress. He in a partly unbuttoned white linen shirt. Kimbal and his wife were there, along with their cousin, and to show that they had made up, Amber sent me pictures and videos of the evening. She can't resist it. Here's all the evidence I have. See, we were good. We were good. We weren't fighting at all. Look at this weird video I made afterwards where Elon's clearly uncomfortable trying to move on, but no, see, we're good. Who does that? I don't get it. In one of them, Elon wishes her a happy new year and kisses her passionately on the lips. She came to the conclusion that Musk cultivated drama. She came to this conclusion that he cultivated drama because he needed a lot of stimuli to keep him invigorated. Even after they broke up for good, the embers endured. I loved him very much. You loved his money very much. She says she also understands him well. Elon loves fire, she says, and sometimes it burns him. So you're admitting you're fire. You admit you're burning people. The fact that Elon was attracted to Amber was part of a pattern. Really sad that he falls in love with these people who are really mean to him. Kimbal says they're beautiful, no question, but they have a very dark side, and Elon knows that they're toxic. So why does he do it? When I ask Elon, he lets out his large laugh. Because I'm just a fool for love. I am often a fool, but especially for love. She's then mentioned again in a few other sections. Now, these are all very fleeting. That's the big section on Amber Heard. It's over. Grimes was a good partner for Musk. Like Amber and Musk himself, she was inclined towards chaos. But unlike Amber, hers was chaos that was undergirded by kindness and even sweetness. My Dungeons and Dragons alignment would be chaotic good, she says, whereas Amber's is probably chaotic evil. She realized that's what made Amber enticing to Musk. He's attracted to chaotic evil. It's about his father and what he grew up with, and he's quick to fall back into being treated badly. He associates love with being mean or abusive. There's an Errol Amber through line. The father who, but yeah, here's even Grimes admitting that he likes chaotic evil, i.e. Amber. Fast forwarding, here we go. They met before, and ironically, it was when Musk was in an elevator with Amber Heard. This is when I met Grimes. Elevator, huh? Remember that elevator meeting Grimes asked during a late night conversation I had with her and Musk? I mean, that was super weird. Of all the times to meet, Musk agreed. You were staring at me very intensely. While he's in an elevator with Amber Heard, was that Johnny's building? Why does this guy ask about this? He doesn't. We then move on. What was that meeting? We don't know. We don't get more information. This author is just a fly on the wall, taking what he's given and doesn't ask questions, I guess. Super bummer. And then he talks a few fleeting mentions here, as I said. Emotional tsunami caused up by his breakup with Amber, and then more that caused something to happen later. Right here, they're talking about his birthday celebration, and then Amber had called to wish him a birthday later. After which he dropped his phone and it broke, so he was not in a good mood. Then we move on. Why even bring it up? Here are the pictures with Amber that I showed you from the book cover. You can see him a little bit closer up, along with his father and with Trump. Musk sat there silent. He was brooding about Amber Heard and about his father without much explanation. He got up and left. Again, just some fleeting frustration, devastated by the breakup with Amber in this portion of Are You Bipolar? And the news his father died. Musk went through periods where he isolated between depression, stupor, giddiness, and manic energy. And these fall into foul moods that led to almost catatonic trances and depressive paralysis. How come I can't say that word? Sorry, I'm dyslexic sometimes, guys. So he was paralyzed. And then one more here. Kimbal believed his turmoil was partly triggered by continued anguish after almost a year and his breakup with Amber. 2018 was a tailspin. It was related to him just being in an awful grief around Amber. He really, I guess, loved her or was tricked by it. So was Johnny. Johnny was so infatuated by this woman. Then we have this set up here to the final part here where they're talking about some other thing in August of 2018. And then there was a posting about Grimes and Musk. Elon was much better off hiring an escort, or at least an escort would have kept her mouth shut about his business. He's got some dirty sneaker inbred out of the woods, Pabst beer, running around town telling everyone everything about him, all because he needed a date at the Met Gala to hide his shrinking D from Amber Heard. He's on the Down syndrome spectrum. There's something not quite right about him. Anyway, yikes. So this was Grimes wrote this? Oh no, this is Banks. This is a friend of Grimes. Anyway, Grimes told Banks, yes, this was another person. And then Banks wrote this, posting about Grimes and Musk got progressively crazier. That's it. You disappointed? Because I'm disappointed. Where's the pregnancy? That's such a big, obvious thing. Where's the whole Johnny Depp trial? The parallels. I understand he needs to do a neutral book here, but how do you skip that? It's almost as if someone was told to skip it, right? That's how it feels like to me. He's either a bad author or he wasn't allowed to write about it. Because how do you do a portion of this and about this man and not check in on that? This is a big book, guys. It covers a lot. We didn't have time. You had time. You had time. I know he's been through a lot. This is a very big book. Small, print's not too big. This is a lot of pages. And you didn't think to ask that? I'm frustrated. Now I wonder if he'll be able to answer more in other interviews, and maybe they will. So far he's been doing some friendly, I saw he's at Lex Friedman, who I like. But Lex is an Elon fan. They're clearly friends. I wonder if it'll be in those sort of friend-like circles, or if someone will actually be able to ask those questions to Walter. Why didn't you follow up more on the Depp trial and his thoughts and the pregnancy and all this? Why? It seems like he should have, in my opinion. So overall, look, I know a lot of we were excited when this came out. They definitely got me to buy it. I fell for it. And I'm happier to have this than I am Spare, or Things I Should Have Said by Jamie Lynn Spears. I do think this is going to be an interesting book to learn about Elon Musk, who is a formative person in our culture. So I'm not embarrassed to have the book, but I'm disappointed that the author didn't really get in and ask some more questions. Are you as well? Is that enough? I mean, I do love that his chief of staff called Amber the Joker. True. It's true. But what about all those weird parties and allegations? You could have asked the question and then moved on. He didn't even seemingly ask the question. Disappointing. If we hear more from him in interviews and whatnot, we will make a video. So hit that button, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, hit that thumbs up as well. Leave your comments down below. What do you think on all this? Are you left unsatisfied? Is it enough? Are you glad to hear that there's clearly chaos? And why do you think Elon isn't defending Johnny? In fact, I'm going to put that out in my tweet to promote this. Let's tag him. Let's be nice about it, but let's tag it. Why won't you finally just come clean and admit Johnny was in the right? Come on, Elon. We could use the support. Let's start it. Maybe it's time for the trauma. It's been enough time. Can you finally come forward and acknowledge, yeah, it seems like Johnny had an unfair deal. Let's hear you say it. Come on, dude. Let's do it. What do you think? Will he do it? Leave a comment down below. Check out these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be live in a bit, so come on back. Thanks for watching, everybody.